A CBS 19 special report. You know of designer clothes that become the it brand for the moment? Well, it works the same way with designer drugs. She comes with an innocent name. Molly is ecstasy in pure form.
CBS 19's Jamie Garrick takes a look at this drug frequenting clubs and concerts and music festivals to find out why it has such a strong following despite being linked to deaths.
A lot of younger adults will tell you if you go to the right place asking for Molly, it's not hard to find her. She's a drug that you hear about in pop culture, from Miley Cyrus to Madonna and Kanye West. You're about to hear from a user what it's all about, and then a researcher who argues in certain cases, Molly has the potential to change lives for the better.
Molly, 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 Molly.
When I was doing it like once a month, twice a month maybe.
I show up in the party, like where the f that Molly?
This is Doug, who agreed to talk to me about using Molly as long as we concealed his identity. He first tried the popular drug about 4 years ago.
Pretty much curiosity and the fact that it was just there for me to do.
Doug, like many users, enjoys it before concerts, but he doesn't do it alone. At least 80% of his friends do Molly for its effects.
Happy, euphoria, you know.
Molly, or technically MDMA, acts as a stimulant and a psychedelic, according to the Drug Enforcement Administration. It's supposed to be ecstasy in its pure form, but doctors say that's usually not what you get.
The problem with all these drugs is you don't know what's in them now. These new synthetic drugs are made with many different chemicals, lots of them very, very harmful.
Statistics back up the assumption that Molly, commonly bought on the street, is more than just Molly. Nonprofit organization Dance Safe, which promotes healthy choices in the nightclub community, tested more than 300 pills sold around the world last year. Of those, only 28% were pure MDMA, and 32% didn't have any MDMA in them at all.
A lot of bad things can happen when you start confusing the chemical makeup of your brain. If you take too much of it, it will cause your brain not to be able to regulate your temperature, and sometimes you can get hyperthermia where your body overheats.
Doctors say it's common to hear of dehydration because users are downing Molly and lots of alcohol.
When you mix all those together, you know, you're asking for a disaster.
From a physician's standpoint, the drug bearing the innocent name is anything but.
I cannot see in my lifetime that this kind of drug would ever be FDA approved for any kind of use.
We're hungry for what's the real facts about MDMA.
But a researcher in California hopes for a different conclusion.
The safety of MDMA when pure and given in a controlled setting is way different than the risk profile when it's given in a recreational setting.
Rick Doblin is the executive director of the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. He believes in small doses of Molly for therapeutic treatment.
MDMA helps people to take a look at what has been too fearful before.
Specifically, Doblin is talking about autistic adults, people with life-threatening illnesses, and veterans suffering from PTSD. He remembers one veteran's experience vividly.
He ended up dropping out of the study after one session and saying that he didn't even want more MDMA. He felt like he didn't need it. And he's been cured. It's incredible.
He brushes off the white powder as addictive, saying its luster usually fades for people after a year, but acknowledges that the way people are using it isn't good for their health.
Taking the drug to have a drug experience, that's a little bit of a danger.
And since that danger isn't going away, parents are encouraged to look for signs.
And no matter how much you try to tell them they want to try something new, and you just have to really warn your kids and children.
Users like Doug say that Molly is only a text away at a club or concert. A single dose of a capsule or powder runs him $15 to $20, but it's difficult to tell before you take it if it's made with other drugs. So it's a big gamble. Back to you.
It is
Indeed,
scary.
it is. The risk of Molly made headlines last year when 2 concert goers died of overdoses over Labor Day weekend.
The 20-year-old girl had confessed to EMS workers she had taken 6 hits of Molly before collapsing. A safety alert now. More than 90 people are under arrest after U.S. investigators shut down 2 separate hacking operations. 5 Chinese officials are charged with hacking into American companies to steal trade secrets. But perhaps the most disturbing crime involves a malicious software known as black shades. Hackers